Indonesia. The name alone evokes a sense of mystery, adventure. It's a land of intense beauty and daunting complexity. More than 17,000 islands scattered across the equator like emeralds on velvet. Volcanoes pierce the sky, their slopes cloaked in emerald-green rice paddies. Ancient temples stand as silent sentinels to a rich and storied past. This is a land of staggering diversity. Over 300 distinct ethnic groups call Indonesia home, each with its own language, customs, and traditions. From the bustling streets of Jakarta to the remote villages of Papua, Indonesia is a kaleidoscope of human experience. It's a place where ancient traditions collide with modern aspirations, where the past is never truly gone, but rather woven into the fabric of everyday life. To understand Indonesia, you have to experience it. Taste the fiery sambal, smell the incense wafting from ancient temples, hear the call to prayer echoing across the rice paddies. This is a land that will challenge your perceptions. It will stay with you long after you've left its shores. This is Indonesia, a land of endless possibilities. Indonesia's strategic location has always been its defining feature. Positioned at the crossroads of ancient trade routes, it was a magnet for merchants and adventurers. Long before the arrival of Europeans, ships laden with silk, spices and porcelain sailed these waters. The Chinese came first, drawn by the allure of cloves and nutmeg. They established trading posts and brought with them their culture and beliefs. Buddhism and Confucianism found fertile ground in Indonesia, blending with indigenous beliefs to create a unique syncretism. Next came the Indians, bringing Hinduism and a sophisticated court culture. They established kingdoms and introduced the Sanskrit language, which had a profound impact on Indonesian art, literature, and architecture. Arab traders arrived in the 7th century, bringing with them Islam. The new faith spread rapidly, particularly in the coastal regions, where trade was brisk. Mosques soon dotted the landscape, standing alongside Hindu temples and Buddhist monasteries. This intermingling of faiths is a testament to Indonesia's remarkable capacity for cultural absorption. The arrival of Hinduism and Buddhism ushered in a golden age for Indonesia. Powerful kingdoms emerged, leaving behind a legacy of stunning architecture and intricate art. These monuments stand today as testament to the ingenuity and artistry of Indonesia's ancient civilizations. Borobudur, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is perhaps the most iconic of these structures. This massive stone mandala, built in the 8th century by the Sailendra dynasty, is a towering testament to Mahayana Buddhist cosmology. Its intricate reliefs depict the life of the Buddha and the journey towards enlightenment. Prambanan, another UNESCO World Heritage Site, is a magnificent Hindu temple complex dating back to the 9th century. Dedicated to the Trimurti, the Hindu trinity of Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, Prambanan is a masterpiece of Hindu architecture. Its towering spires and intricate carvings are a testament to the power and sophistication of the ancient Mataram kingdom. These temples are not merely relics of the past, they are living monuments, places of pilgrimage and worship. They serve as a reminder of Indonesia's rich cultural heritage and the enduring power of faith. The arrival of the Dutch in the 17th century marked a turning point in Indonesian history. Lured by the promise of spices, the Dutch East India Company, or VOC, established a foothold in the archipelago. What began as a commercial enterprise soon morphed into something far more sinister: colonialism. The VOC, driven by greed and a ruthless disregard for human life, exploited Indonesia's resources and people. They established a monopoly on the spice trade, forcing farmers to grow cash crops at the expense of food production. Those who resisted were met with brutal repression. The Dutch presence had a profound and lasting impact on Indonesian society. They introduced a system of forced labor, known as the cultivation system, which enriched the colonial elite while impoverishing millions of Indonesians. They also sowed the seeds of division, pitting ethnic groups against each other in a cynical attempt to maintain control. In the early 20th century, Indonesia's quest for independence began to gain momentum. The spirit of resistance was palpable, as leaders and common folk alike rallied against colonial rule. This period was marked by numerous uprisings and the emergence of influential figures who would later become national heroes. Despite facing immense challenges, the determination for self-governance never wavered. The struggle for freedom was arduous, but it laid the foundation for the nation's eventual independence. Through perseverance and unity, the people of Indonesia forged a path towards a sovereign future. Following the tumultuous years of struggle for independence, Indonesia embarked on the challenging journey of nation-building. The diverse archipelago, with its myriad of cultures, languages and traditions, sought unity under the banner of Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, unity in diversity. The early years were marked by efforts to establish a stable government, foster economic growth, and create a sense of national identity. The rise of the new order under President Suharto brought significant changes to Indonesia. This era saw rapid economic development and modernization, but it was also characterized by authoritarian rule and human rights abuses. The legacy of the new order is complex, leaving a lasting impact on the nation's political and social landscape. As the 21st century dawned, Indonesia began to embrace democratic reforms. The fall of Suharto's regime opened the door for greater political freedoms and a more vibrant civil society. The challenges were many, but so were the opportunities. Indonesia's young democracy faced tests of resilience yet continued to strive towards a more inclusive and just society. Today, Indonesia stands as a dynamic and rapidly evolving nation. With a growing economy, rich cultural heritage, and strategic importance in the global arena, Indonesia is on the move. The journey is far from over, but the spirit of the Indonesian people, resilient, innovative, and hopeful, continues to drive the nation forward.